Welcome back to Pimp My Setup. Today we're taking a look at some video editing setups, and later on we're going to hear from special guest Matt Graham. So if you're interested in that, then sit back, relax, and interact because the show starts now.
It's time for the original setup show dedicated to providing you with tips, tricks, and feedback to pimp out your setup. Hosted by Matt Philly with new special guests every week. Coming at you live in 3, 2, 1.
Help support the channel by joining the Swashin crew. It's only $1 a month and you get a special Discord ring. Head on over to swashintv/support to join. Hi everybody, I'm Matt Philly. This is episode number 9 of Pimp My Setup. If you're enjoying the series, be sure to hit that like button, and let's get into the first setup of the day, submitted by Diva Mage, who's 32 years old. Diva Mage uses his setup for video editing, of course, as well as game capture, 3D modeling, streaming, and YouTube. If you want to check him out on YouTube or Twitch, just look up Diva Mage. So right out of the gate, I'm gonna be that guy, but really the cables are literally a nightmare. It really doesn't matter that you have a grommet for your PC, since most of the cables are above the desk, and your desk even has a backplate which you should be utilizing to hide your cables. And off to the left where your entertainment center is, things look even worse. The speaker positioning doesn't make much sense. There's no headphone stand. The microphone arm doesn't seem ideal. Stacking controllers and mixers and such isn't a good idea. And the usability just seems a bit off. I don't think I would use the desk the way you are. I would center the monitor on the left side and have the secondary to the right. You're just not really utilizing the full potential of this desk. Your theme is lacking big time, and overall the room just seems very random. I'm sorry to start off so harsh, but Diva Mage, you got a 35664, making your final score of 48. The next setup is submitted by Gio, who's 13 years old. He uses a setup for video editing, recording, and gaming. If you want to check his channel out, it's Gio Games with a Z. There is a lot going on here, but it's obvious you're a content creator with those massive soft boxes, which you can actually mount to your ceiling. I did it in my setup, and that way I don't need the stands taking up valuable space. I think the inconsistency of your monitors is something that a lot of people are going to frown upon, but I think down the road you could definitely fix that. For now, I would probably just start with elevating them on a riser to give you more space on your desk and not make things look so cramped. I think the room looks really cluttered due to the fact that all your peripherals sort of blend into the contrasty pictures, but for the most part it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not ideal positioning for your PlayStation or mixer, but it works. I'm also not sure what your theme is, so I'd probably use that left wall and start putting some stuff over there. Also, I'm having a hard time finding your microphone or speakers, even though I see a mixer with the microphone plugged in and a subwoofer on top of your computer, which, by the way, I just put that on the floor. Overall though, Gio, you got yourself an 85774, making your final score a 62. Next set of the day, submitted by Cameron, who's 26 years old. You set up for video editing and some gaming. This setup is bright, it's clean, it's simple, it's definitely a great combo, and for once I feel like we're seeing a setup that has a nice monitor arrangement for video editing. Even though the side displays are kind of far away because the ultra wide is so wide, I think it still works, especially for bins and notes and stuff while you're editing. The cable management is pretty good, minus a few spots. He did say that he was a bit lazy in certain areas, so it makes sense. I think all of the artwork up above your setup is too high, but the middle one especially is just like super high for what seems to be no reason. I'm also not sure why you have an LED strip on the floor, but I guess it's different. And of course, I'd also get a headphone hanger. It also looks like you have a setup to your left, and I'm not sure who that's for. I'm not sure if it's yours, but if two people are sitting there at a time, it definitely looks a little problematic. Camera got 2 7s, 3 9s, making his final score an 82. The next setup is submitted by Brian, who's 33 years old and uses his setup specifically for video editing. And it's true, this setup screams video editor, from the speakers to the iMac to even the camera rig on the desk. It seems like he prefers a dark atmosphere to focus on his work, which is pretty common amongst a lot of video editors. I can't do it too much because the bright display literally makes my eyes bleed. This setup has so many cool accessories, and I really am digging those speaker stands. You also have some pretty cool knickknacks and storage, and your cable management is quite good and also very interesting. Although I would probably adhere the drooping manage part to the tabletop so it's not just, drooping. I gotta say though, there's nothing like using some 556 to rest your feet up on, you know what I'm saying? Also, I would invert the top display just to make it touch the iMac so there's no separation there. Plus, you don't have to worry about the bottom of the monitor being thicker, so you just inverse it. And I would love to see some stuff up on the walls for sure. Brian got himself a 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, making his final score an 86. The final setup of the day is submitted by Wian or something, and who's 15 years old. He's set up for video editing, gaming, and some schoolwork. I gotta say, this is such a unique setup for multiple reasons, some good and some weird. I like the storage on the desk as well as the headphones, although you could use some speakers. The cable management is pretty good, and I really like the bed. I can see some sort of like handmade wood sort of style throughout the setup here, which I really dig. I would love to know what the significance of the shirt is though. I'm not hating on it, especially if there's meaning, but as a stranger to the setup, it just seems weird. And I'm not a fan of the product shelf one bit. I think it makes the setup look extremely overcrowded, and also with the shelf being that low, it makes the monitor look real small. I can't picture that being fun to use, especially the monitor's right here and then the shelf is like right there casting a shadow. And I don't understand the netting at the top. Maybe you can explain that to me, but again, as a stranger, it just seems weird. From the far back shot though, I have to say for a 15-year-old, this is a pretty cool room, and really just fix the product shelf and make the shelf go up a little bit higher, and really it's going to be a pretty awesome setup. Wian got 3 7s, 2 9s, made his final score a 78. Take a look at the final scoreboard here. Brian came in first place with an 86 and Diva Mage in last with a 48. Now it's time for the part of the show where we hear from our special guest to find out what they thought of each setup and which one was their favorite. Today's special guest is Matt Graham.
What's going on, people? My name is Matt, and if you don't know who I am a photographer, videographer, content creator right here on YouTube, and I'm happy to be here, happy to be on the show. Thanks, Matt, for having me. And let's just jump right into these setups. The first setup we're going to talk about today is Diva Mage. He is 32 years old. The first thing I'm noticing, man, is you got a lot of cables. Clean those up, and then the next thing I'd say is get some of the things you don't really need on your desk off your desk, and that's really all I got to say about that one. The next one we're going to talk about is Geo. You got a good setup going on here. It's definitely a step in the right direction. The main problem I have with it is if I was using it, I wouldn't be able to bring my elbows outside my shoulders because I'd hit my PlayStation on this side and I hit my mixer on this side. So if you can move those out of the way, I'd do that. I mean, especially for 13 years old, you definitely have a good thing going on here. And like Matt said, you might want to start working on your theming. You know, you want to add your own little personal flair to it, your own little, sugar and spice to your setup so it can become one cohesive thing that speaks to you. Moving on to Brian, who's got a pretty good setup here. He's clearly a video editor, got a camera sitting right on his desk. I don't know if you have that there all the time. Maybe that's not the best place for it, but moving on. The only things that I would change is if you're gonna go with blue, go with blue. If you could change those LEDs from red to blue, that would be good. And just add some life to it, man. I would personally add a little bit more light, but just change the color scheme and spice it up a little bit. Wian. As far as setups go, got a little bit of work to do. I'm not sure if you like fishing or you like the Brooklyn nets, but you got a net at the top of your setup. I don't know if you noticed that. Nix it, dude. There's one reason to keep boxes, and it's to return things. Every other reason is not a good reason. Color scheme, I dig it. You got the red going on. It's consistent all the way through, even your headphones, and red's my favorite color. If you want to take that color scheme to the next level, the thing I would do is just change your wallpaper. I do enjoy the functionality of being able to be at your computer and then turn around and play your game. So you definitely got that going on, which is a big plus. Now, last but not least, we'll talk about the most important part of this setup. The shirt. Shirts are for wearing. They're not wall decorations. Now moving on to Cameron's setup. You could lick that setup. This is my kind of setup. Let's be nitpicky, okay? The lights on the floor. If you can change those to blue, I'd do it because you got blue everything else. The artwork overhead, bring it down a little bit. I can barely see it. But man, other than that, that is a clean setup. And I only got one thing to say, my friend. That's all the setups we're gonna run through today. Thanks again, Matt, for having me on. It's been nice hanging out with all of you people out in the swashin world. Now, back to Matt and his beautiful face.
Big shout out to Matt for being today's special guest. Definitely go check out his channel. I'll leave a link to it down below. Very cinematic, very cool storytelling. So definitely check it out and stay tuned because hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be doing some pretty cool collabs with him in a different environment, but stay tuned. That's it though for episode number 9 of Pimp My Setup. Definitely be sure to hit that like button. It does help. And be sure to subscribe. We are on the road to 200K. And that's really it. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, I'm Matt Philly and you're not. Get out of my face. Have a great day. And I'll catch you on the flippity flop.